It finally hit them. They lost me. I never thought the day would come when silence would become my greatest victory. Not anger, not revenge, not shouting my pain, just silence. But before I tell you what happened, let me take you back to the moment I realized something that changed my life forever. The moment I realized that the people who treated me like I was nothing would one day feel my absence louder than my presence. My name is Sorrel, and this is the story of the day it finally hit them. They lost me. For most of my life, I was the girl who stayed. The girl who tried harder when everyone else stopped trying. The girl who forgave quickly, even when the apology never came. If someone hurt me, I would ask myself what I did wrong. If someone ignored me, I would try to love them louder. If someone disrespected me, I would stay quiet and tell myself maybe they didn't mean it like that. I believed love meant endurance. I believed loyalty meant staying no matter how much it hurt. And because of that, people got comfortable treating me like I would never leave. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and nobody notices? When your presence feels like background noise? That was my life for a long time. At family gatherings, I was the one washing dishes while everyone laughed in the other room. At work, I was the one doing extra tasks while others took the credit. In relationships, I was the one giving everything while receiving almost nothing. I wasn't asking for much. I wasn't asking for praise or attention. I just wanted respect. But somehow, the quieter I became, the easier it became for people to ignore me. People think heartbreak happens in one big dramatic moment. But the truth is, heartbreak usually happens slowly. It happens in small moments that pile up over time. Moments like being interrupted when you are speaking, having your feelings dismissed like they don't matter, being the last person anyone checks on, watching people show up for others while ignoring you completely. Each moment seems small on its own, but together they slowly convince you of a dangerous lie, the lie that maybe you don't matter. And for years, I believed that lie. Then one night, everything changed. There was no fight, no shouting, no dramatic scene, just silence. I was sitting alone in my room after another long day of pretending everything was fine. And suddenly a thought crossed my mind, a thought I had never allowed myself to think before. Why am I fighting so hard to stay somewhere I am not valued? That question felt like a wave crashing through my chest. For the first time, I stopped blaming myself for the way people treated me, and I realized something painful. I had been begging for love from people who were perfectly comfortable living without giving it. Something inside me broke that night. But something else was born too. Self-respect. The next morning I didn't announce anything. I didn't argue. I didn't explain my pain again. I simply made a quiet decision. I would stop chasing people who made me feel invisible. I would stop begging for the bare minimum. I would stop shrinking myself to make others comfortable. And most importantly, I would walk away with dignity. When people believe you will never leave, they stop appreciating you. They assume your kindness is weakness. They assume your patience is endless. They assume your silence means you have no limits. But the day you finally step back, something strange happens. Your silence becomes loud. Your absence becomes heavy. And suddenly the same people who ignored you start asking a question. Where did she go? At first, nobody noticed. Days passed. Then weeks. But slowly, things started changing. The person who always helped was no longer there. The person who always listened stopped answering the phone. The person who always showed up disappeared. And that is when it finally started hitting them. One evening, my phone lit up with a message. Hey, are you okay? You've been quiet lately. I stared at the message for a long time. For years, I had been silently hoping someone would notice my pain, and now suddenly they noticed my silence. But by that time, something inside me had already changed. I wasn't angry. I wasn't bitter. I was just awake. I had realized something powerful. People often appreciate your presence only after they experience your absence. Months later, I ran into someone who used to treat me like I was invisible. They looked at me with surprise. "You've changed," they said, and they were right. I had changed. Not because I became colder or harder, but because I finally understood my worth. I stopped pouring my energy into places that treated it like it was worthless. And in that moment, I saw something in their eyes: regret. The quiet realization that something valuable was gone. That is when it finally hit them. They didn't lose someone ordinary. They lost someone who would have stood by them through anything. Someone loyal, someone patient, someone who cared deeply. And the truth is, the quiet and loyal people in your life are the rarest kind. They don't demand attention. They don't create chaos. They simply love deeply and give sincerely. But when those people finally decide to leave, they rarely come back the same. Walking away taught me lessons I wish I had learned much earlier. It taught me that self-respect is more important than approval. It taught me that peace is more valuable than being accepted. And it taught me that the right people will never make you feel like you are too much or not enough. Most importantly, it taught me that losing people who never valued you is not actually a loss. Sometimes it is freedom. So, if you are watching this and you feel invisible, if you feel like people only notice you when you stop trying, I want you to remember something. Your value is not determined by how people treat you. Sometimes people mistreat you simply because they don't understand what they have. But one day, they will understand. One day the silence will become louder than your voice ever was. And when that day comes, it will finally hit them. They didn't lose someone ordinary. They lost someone rare. They lost someone loyal. They lost someone who truly cared. They lost you.